This is the Glatt Properties Podcast, episode 20. I am your host, Bruce Gladhorn. Let's get right into it. I'm going to try to make this one short, fast, to the point, easy peasy. Just a nice, fun listen on the way home. Of course, as always, as I'm doing this, people text me. So let's get into this. This weekend, we had a fantastic conversation with a young person that's looking to get into real estate. So far ahead of where their peers are in terms of thinking about real estate and success. There is some influence from that person's family and X, Y, and Z. And we gave her a lot of information in a very short amount of time. So what I want to do is basically recap this so anybody that's in her exact same position can go back and revisit this as they need to in order to be reminded as to why some things are done the way that they're done. So the first thing, why do we use the bank's money? Because we control our cash, but the bank helps us grow wealth. The bank has the money. They're willing to give you 15 to 25% for an investment property depending on your financials and your personal situation. Use as much of their money as possible. It's always more beneficial for you to hold cash than to dump yours into one property, because something might happen. Something's going to come up with the property. You're going to need the capital. You're going to need the cash. So it is what it is. Don't save up all your money for one investment property. Save up as much money as you need for one investment property, and then do it again, and then do it again over and over and over again. And you'll find that the supplemental income that your rental properties are providing you help pay for the next one. The first one, you may only get a couple grand. For the second property. The second property, you may get $10,000. But if you can get anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 a year in cash flow from these rental properties, your portfolio can pay for a house itself each and every year. That is almost as true as anything else, while also paying for the note. I've said this before, I'll say this again. 2 properties pay for 3. 2 properties pay for 3, 9.9 times out of 10. Just is what it is. So the second thing that we discussed was the importance of negotiating sales skills. Sales, negotiating, they're kind of the same thing. They're kind of not the same thing. Sales is the umbrella. Negotiation is a topic. You have to be able to talk through your deal and your contract. You have to be able to just disregard the other agent's or the other person's emotion behind what it is that you want, need, desire, or have to have done, and keep moving on with your points and topics of discussion or whatever. Now, negotiating isn't being mean to the other person. That's actually the exact opposite that you want, because you then receive a confrontational response. So even though negotiation is confrontation, what you don't want is a confrontational conversation. What you want to do is you want to be able to understand their point, describe your point, and see what you can do to be successful in a brief 30 seconds or less format. But we discussed about the importance of the topic of negotiation, sales, and all that good stuff, and how unfortunately, the only way to go out and do that is to go out and do that over and over again. And you're going to suck until you don't. And it is what it is. It's part of the game. It's part of anything. Believe me, anybody listening to this sucks at something right now, and they'll get better as they practice. But if they don't practice, they'll continue to suck. This is a fact that we all learn in kindergarten that some adults fail to recognize. And that's okay, because they're not competition. So don't worry about them. Put them aside. Shake their hand, smile at them, and don't worry about them. But negotiating is a very important topic and discussion, and there's not a snowball's chance in hell any college is going to teach you about negotiating or teach you about this, that, or the other thing, because remember, you're going to learn more in the field than you are in the classroom. People pay for your experience. They don't care about your education. It's a simple, basic fact. Anybody that disagrees, God bless you. Good luck. Have a great day. Third thing that we discussed is a funny thing that I was actually told a couple years ago, and then I find that I literally just said this to somebody today, and I didn't even realize I had it in the old brain. But new people getting into business, people getting into their own space, starting their side hustle, whatever. They do a lot of research. They do a lot of self-education. And they might hear one thing that goes against everything that they hear, let's just say online, via a YouTube video, right? Like this right here. They think that couldn't possibly work because this person did it this way, or that this person did it that way, and then that way is a better way. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you are going to give somebody advice, you have to expect them to say no and go out and get the experience themselves, not listen to you, go fail, then realize what you had to say and what the meaning of your words were after they screwed up. On a different note, there's a conversation that I was having this weekend where we were both speaking English. Clearly, we were both speaking English. But the other person was not able to understand the other person's version of English. So it was almost like the blind leading the deaf in that situation. And that's what it's like when you're talking to somebody new, getting into a new space. Their aggression makes them not value your opinion, or not value the opinion as much in a weird way. And also in a weird way, they know that nobody's going to do it for them. So it's very easy for you to say this, that, and the other thing, but do you have anything to show for that? And that's fine. I always ask people, if they're going to give me advice, what experience do they have? I don't want to hear their advice. I want to hear their experience. That's how you really separate the men from the boys in that situation. So I basically ended the conversation off with, go fail. You're not going to listen to me. I know you're not. I know you're going to do whatever you want. This is exactly what was told to me. I know you're going to go do whatever it is that you're going to do. We're going to tell you everything that you need to go do, but you're not going to do it because you think it's this way. And you're not going to understand our words until you go out and fail on your own. But what you have to do is immediately and quickly, as soon as possible, go fail. Go fail so you can understand my words, and my words will make sense. Far too often do people hear the words of advice. They say that they're going to go out and they're going to go fail. Failure is an action. It's actually a verb in business, because you actually did something and you screwed up because you're going to. You're stupid if you don't think that you are going to be a failure at first. It just is what it is. But you have to go fail to understand the advice. It's a very simple concept, but you understand more and more things as you go out and you fail and you screw up. I understand more from failure than anything else in life. I understand more from not getting what I want than getting what I want, because I can get a house and not have to go through any issue or whatever, and it's in a way, looking back at it, it's not fun. I didn't learn anything. I dropped however many thousands of dollars and I didn't get a lesson out of it. Or the lesson is going to be prolonged and delayed, and then it's going to smack you in the face at 2 o'clock in the morning, which has happened. And that's not fun either, but it's part of the game. It's part of the hustle. But anyway, I just wanted to recap that entire conversation. It was a fantastic conversation. I know we're gonna connect with that person again. It just the way that things that we do and the way that we operate, we are going to revisit that conversation. But this is more of a recap for that individual, and anybody that's looking to get into it. It's the same person, different body. I see the same wants, needs, desires, look in their eye as I did with that person, as I do a lot of people. You can't let your own failure, fear of failure, get in your way. Ask yourself, if you had $25,000 that you had to protect and you put it into real estate, do you think that you'd figure it out after 30 years? I think you would. Because you can learn a lot in 30 years. And I also think that you'd make a lot of money off of that money in 30 years. But you can't be thinking, at a minimum, you got to think about 7 years out. You can't think about a year. You can't think about 2 years. You got to think about 5 to 7 years out, and then 20 to 30 years out. It's just the mentality, and it just is what it is. So I'm done. I'm done ranting and rambling. Enjoy your day. Stay safe, everybody, and until next time.